It looks like every manufacturer wants to make a selfie-focused smartphone. But in an attempt to do that, they sometimes end up making a one-trick pony. Meet the Asus ZenFone 4 Selfie Pro, the latest selfie-focused smartphone by Asus. But does this phone have more to offer? Let's find out. As soon as you unbox the ZenFone 4 Selfie Pro, the strong solid build becomes evident. The device in hand feels premium, owing to its metal unibody design. It's a sleek device to hold and use. The buttons and ports are in their standard place, and the fingerprint scanner is now on the front. The company claims that the fingerprint scanner unlocks the phone in 0.2 seconds, which is somewhat true. In the beginning, the scanner worked flawlessly, but after some days of moderate usage, there was a slight delay in unlocking the phone using the fingerprint scanner, though it works perfectly most of the time. About that scanner, we get a 5.5-inch Full HD AMOLED display with narrow bezels. Colors are nice and bright thanks to the high contrast nature of OLED technology, and the screen does a good job at getting very bright when using under direct sunlight. That display is covered with a 2.5D curved Gorilla Glass. Overall, the display is decent. Since this is an AMOLED panel, we get an always-on panel out of the box, which allows user to check the date, time and notifications even when their phone is on standby. Now, let us talk about the highlight of this phone, the dual front-facing cameras. The primary one is 12 megapixel Sony IMX362 sensor with an f1.8 aperture, whereas the secondary one is 5 megapixels OmniVision sensor and has a super wide 120 degrees field of view. Asus claims that the front 12 megapixel camera uses the dual pixel technology to extrapolate the 12 megapixel images to 24 megapixel size to give you more details. I didn't really see much value in keeping the dual pixel mode on always, as it takes some time to process and doesn't add that much of improvement to the image which would otherwise be a 12 megapixel shot. The beauty mode is another gimmick, making the user look more beautiful. It works fine in well lit conditions, but in low light it may look fake sometimes, almost like a Snapchat filter when cranked all the way up. And yeah, there's also a small front flash to shoot selfies in dark. Features like selfie panorama, GIF animation and 9 various filters are also worth mentioning. Coming on to the rear side, we get a 16 megapixel basic camera with single LED flash. There is also some super resolution feature which lets you capture 64 megapixel images. Yes, you heard it correctly, it's 64 megapixels. Don't get too much excited. Honestly, I've never seen any quality difference between a normal click and a super resolution click. It just increases the number of pixels but the quality remains the same. Worth mentioning features are beauty mode, pro mode, GIF animation, time lapse, panorama, slow motion and 9 various filters. There's one issue though. The touch to focus feature hardly works. Maybe it will get solved via an OTA update. Talking about the video, the front and the rear camera can record in 4K 30fps and Full HD 60fps, which is impressive. Something that vloggers will appreciate. Both of the cameras have EIS and portrait mode. The portrait mode blurs out the background quite well in the case of front cameras thanks to the dual camera setup, whereas in the case of rear camera, it uses software to blur out the background. Though, you will notice a certain amount of lag when using portrait mode. I've used the ZenFone 4 Selfie Pro for 2 weeks now, and in that time, I come across a lot of little things I've come to appreciate. The physical buttons are tactile and satisfying to press. The speaker is loud enough. The Zen-Ear headphones sound decent, though the build quality is mediocre. I would prefer to configure the listening profile under Audio Wizard for better experience. It is powered by DTS Headphonics, 7.1 virtual surround sound and many other audio tweaks that audiophiles are going to love. And yes, we also have a 3.5mm headphone jack. There's no USB-C port though. Instead, you get a standard micro USB port. No worries, the device comes with fast charging. Talking about the battery life, the Selfie Pro can deliver a day of power at ease. Though it houses a 3000 mAh battery, you can still get more of it using various power saving options provided by ZenUI. The standby time has been brilliant. The Selfie Pro is powered by Android 7.1.1 and painted with ZenUI. Earlier we have hated the software on the previous Asus devices, and it seems like our prayers have been heard. Sort of. The ZenUI skin on this phone is a lot clearer and faster than the ZenFone 3 series. It's still a little away from the stock Android, but at least it's headed in the right direction. The icons seen in ZenUI may look ugly to most of us, but we can fix that by installing different themes. Touch and motion gestures make things easy, and Game Genie makes gaming more important. It can boost the performance, live stream or record the game, automate input sequences, and much more. One tap can lock the capacitive buttons so that while gaming there is no accidental exits. Though ZenUI keyboard is way ugly, I had to install Gboard. Talking about the performance, at the heart there lays Snapdragon 625 processor paired with 4GB of RAM and Adreno 506 GPU. This is the mid-range series of processors that have a nice balance between performance and efficiency. Out of the box, we get a 64GB of storage, which is further expandable up to an additional 2TB via micro SD card. The performance was never an issue. Everything worked buttery smooth. At the end, this phone is made targeted towards selfie lovers. For almost everyone else, the price tag of $23,999 seems a bit expensive. It's difficult for me to recommend this phone to others because the competition in the mid-range is getting really hot. This segment has few other interesting entrants, which are going to give the Asus ZenFone Selfie Pro a run for its money. Thanks for watching.